Hello, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to our match reaction show. It's finished. Real Betis nil, Real Madrid nil. Is the title race over? I think it is. I think it is. And it's a controversial take. I mean, there's still 14 games left to play, but I just don't see Barcelona dropping 9 points from this point on. They're 9 points clear now. I don't see them dropping it. And even if they do drop points, I just don't see Real Madrid being capable of making up that gap because it's just so inconsistent. And they just at the moment, you got to say the goal scoring form has completely deserted them as well a little bit, hasn't it? I mean, they didn't score against Barcelona. They looked really bad in that game from a goal scoring standpoint. Same thing today. I mean, they had a lot of chances. And I'll talk about the tactics as well, but it just looks like Real Madrid have forgotten how to score goals. They got those 5 against Liverpool, and maybe we talked about karma gods before, right? So maybe the karma gods have gone right. We give you 5 against Liverpool. We're not giving you any more for a while. So I don't know, but I just don't see it happening. Let me know in the comments if you think that's going to change. I just don't think Real Madrid are going to win La Liga for me. I think Barcelona they don't want to start planning trophy celebrations yet, but I think they can now start to believe that they've won this, that they are not just front runners, but I think they've got one hand of the trophy. They can start to believe that. Of course, you need to wait till they get two hands, but that's where that is. The game itself, Betis' tactics were very interesting because I think what they said to Real Madrid in a way was you can have the wings. You saw a lot of the times, Real Madrid attacking down the wings. They were attacking down the wings, but what they did was they crowded out the center because they were like, fine, you can have the wings, but when you try to cut in, when you try to cut back, or when you try to cross, we're going to be there to block you off. And they did that perfectly. I think the only time when Madrid threatened was when Vinicius sort of went past a couple of players and then he put it in. There was that dangerous cutback that he had, which Benzema couldn't do much with. That was the one time when he looked threatening, and the other time was when they were putting early balls in the box because they were catching them out a bit. But those were not happening that often. So for me, I think that was a calculated gamble that Betis took, where they said, right, we're going to crowd out the center, we're going to let Madrid have the wings. We're going to crowd out the center. They did look vulnerable on the transition, and that was something where they did ride their luck quite a bit. There were a couple of transitional moments where I think Madrid could have done better. Their final passing let them down a lot in this game. It really did, as well as some of their decision making on the shots and stuff. And I will criticize Benzema for this because, but before I do, because. Right, because I think he had the chance. He had scored the goal actually, with the free kick, right? But then it took the handball of Rudiger, and as you know the rules, whether it's intentional or not, if it brushes the hand, it's not a goal. So you can consider himself being unlucky because Rudiger wasn't trying to do anything, but he was just trying to move out of the way so it would be a goal. But those are the breaks that you get. But I thought Benzema and maybe Vinicius as well, but definitely Benzema, I think he's become very predictable this season. I think what has happened is he's tried so hard to be a creator and a scorer, because you can't do both. It's very difficult to do both in the same move. It's very difficult to be a creator and a scorer in the same move. It happens and players do it, but you can't keep doing it every time. And I feel what with Benzema, oftentimes he thinks of himself as more a creator, so he keeps dropping out wide. He's he drops deep, he drops wide. He doesn't stay central as a striker because he's trusting himself a lot. Like he's trusting his shooting instincts a lot. There were so many occasions where he was just waiting on the edge of the 6 yard box, or he was looking for passes. He was out on the wing and he was asking for a pass. You're trying to get a goal in the last 10 minutes. You're a striker. You've got to be sitting in the box. You don't move out wide. You do that, maybe in the first half when you're trying to break teams down. But towards the end of the game, when your team is on the top, when your team is on top, and you're trying to build pressure, you stay in the center because you're the goal scorer. You're the one who's going to have to score. Do not try and find space out wide. That's what I feel. And I will criticize him for that. I feel Vinicius also was a bit predictable today. And I've said this, Vinicius's form has dropped since the World Cup. He's shown flashes, but he hasn't been the player that he was pre-World Cup in 2022. He hasn't been that player since. And today again, another inconsistent performance. He had a couple of good moments, but just that little bit of quality, that little bit of belief and conviction perhaps is missing from his game. So I don't know what the answers are. I mean, they seem to be okay in the Champions League at the moment. The form doesn't affect them in the Champions League. The Copa del Rey is going to be a tough game, and I can see Barcelona winning that one. But it will be interesting to see where Madrid's season goes from here, because I just don't. I mean, yeah, I just don't know. I just don't know what to make of them. I just don't know what to make of them this season, because they're definitely a very good team. But it just seems like there's that lack of consistency, that they just haven't been able to figure out how to break teams down in many games. I did like the fact that Modric was suspended anyway, so he couldn't start today. But I like that Tchouameni started today because he needs to play. I think when he plays, Real Madrid look a different team. At least defensively, they look a lot more solid with Tchouameni in there. I still feel that left back is an area of concern, but they're playing Camavinga because they don't have anybody available at the moment. But Right, the other two midfield positions. Fede Valverde, for me, his form has also not been that great. You know, he was scoring goals for fun at the start of the season. Now those have dried up as well for him. So he's kind of lost his his mojo a bit. Rodrygo, same thing, flashes, but not really doing well. So a few players are not in good form, and I don't know. I just don't know what the future holds for them this season. I don't think they will win La Liga. Can they win the Champions League? They seem to win it even when they don't play well. So it's always hard to bet against them. But I just don't know. For Real Betis, I like the setup. I think Rodri was excellent today. It was wonderful. I thought Ruibal was very good as well. It really covered a lot of both of them. I think both were excellent. And I thought they were a handful. Maybe they could have, if they had a little bit more incision, I think they could have probably hurt Real Madrid. There are a couple of very good chances. I mean, the long shot that was there, Iglesias had a couple of chances as well. They could have scored. They could have, and if they had scored, they probably would have won the game as well if they scored a goal. So that's something. But they will fancy their chance against Manchester United. I think it will be a very even game. Because if Betis played that way against United at Old Trafford, they could very well come away with a draw or even a win, but definitely a draw. They could come away with that, and then you bring them to Real Betis, and you can try and sneak a win or whatever. But they'll fancy their chances based on this performance. The fact that they gave such a good account of themselves against Real Madrid, who are one of the best teams in the world, and they'll fancy their chances against United. United will not be in a good headspace. So I'm not saying it will happen, but I can see it happening. I can see Betis going through to the quarterfinals of the Europa League. I can see it happening. I'm not saying it will, and I know people say negative, but I can see it happening based on this performance today. I mean, to be fair, Betis would have to be really bad today for me to think that, you know, after the shit show that United pulled earlier, Betis would have to be really bad for me to go and say, right, United are going to beat them. So I mean, that didn't happen, but I can see them. I can see them fancying their chances. But fantastic play from Betis. I think there's so many good players. So many players had good performances today, and that's what you want to see as a manager. You want to see your players step up and perform well against big teams, and Manuel Pellegrini is getting that out of this team. And it gives them 2 points of the Champions League places as well. They're not that far off, 2 or 3 points. I think maybe 3 points of Champions League places. So they're still fighting on that front as well. I don't think they'll make it because I think Sociedad are quite good, and Atletico always seem to find their form towards this part of the season. They have been doing pretty well as well. So it might be tough, but I'm sure they'll give it a good go, and they'll definitely get close if they can't get there. But remember, they need to do something. They need to find the right combinations. At the moment, they're not able to. And I don't know what the answers are. I don't know. But let me know in the comments. What did you make of Madrid's performance? What do you think of Madrid's season in La Liga so far? What do you think needs to change? Maybe it needs a formation change. Maybe a different style than 4-3-3, playing that, and maybe they be compatible. I don't know. Let me know in the comments, of course. What do you think about Madrid's game and how they can improve? Do smash the like if you enjoyed this video. Not a lot to talk about in the game, right? Because I mean, there was a lot of chances. It was end to end. It was feisty as well at times. But it just felt like the game was always on the surface, ready to explode, but never quite exploded. So that's there. But let me know, of course, what you smash the like if you enjoyed the video, and do share your comments. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Always love hearing from you guys, of course, and love your support for this channel. So keep that coming, please. Take care. Have a good weekend. We'll see you again soon. Goodbye.